everyone, this is Casual Cree Bros coming to you with my first place locals Millennium deck profile. For everyone that already knows what the deck does and would like to just see the deck list, feel free to skip until the end and I'll have a full list there. For everyone else, let's get right into it. So of course, this is Exodia deck, so we will be playing all 5 pieces of Exodia. It is a must, or you can't play the deck. Alright, we are playing the 3 Sengenjin. And for the Millennium Monsters, they all basically do the same thing where from the hand they will place themselves in the spell and trap zone. And you reveal Millennium Ankh or pay 2,000 life points as a cost. Special summons themselves, and then they each get a search effect. For Sengenjin, this one will search you a Millennium Monster, as well as on the field it cannot be destroyed by monster effects. Then we are playing the 3 Shield. This one will search you the Millennium Ankh, and while on the field it cannot be destroyed by spell and traps. We are playing the 2 Golem, and this one will search you the field spell, the Wedge You Temple. And while it's on the field, Millennium Ankh cannot be negated. We are playing the new Heart of the Blue Eyes at 3. This one is a Millennium Ankh searcher, but all you have to do is discard it to search Millennium Ankh, so it's really nice. And it, not that it would probably come up, but the control of this card cannot be switched, as well as it does have a grave effect to where if your opponent, or if you actually successfully activate Ankh, you can use it, and you can only use it once per duel. But if your opponent special summons a monster of level 8 or higher, or 3,000 attack or higher, you can send that monster to the graveyard to special summon this back from the graveyard. So it's really nice. Alright, that's going to be it for the Millennium Monsters. We are playing nice little tech card by the likes of the Dark Hexield Fusion. So with this, what I have this in here for, I have 2 just for more consistency, because you can't really search it. But it's nice because it'll allow you to get into your Millennium Eyes Restrict. And a lot of people just play the Veiler into Muddy Mud Dragon to get into it, but that takes a lot more resources than just this plus one other monster. So it's really nice, as well as if you run Super Poly, then it's a great Super Poly target because it'll take the spot of any fusion material that is specifically listed. So it's really good. Alright. We are running the triple D shifter, of course. We don't really need the graveyard, that much other than the Blue Eyes, but it's not gonna hurt you. And last hand traps we run in the main deck will be the triple Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. Since you may end up paying a lot of life points, this will help you be able to gain a lot of life points, as well as your Exodia Incarnate is reliant on what your life points are at, so that's really good. Alright, on to the spells. We will be playing the triple Millennium Ankh. Now, for this is your fusion spell, and you reveal all 5 pieces of Exodia, which is why we have to play them. And you reveal them from your hand, field, or deck. And just to show your opponent, you have all 5 and where they're located. And then if they're in your hand, they go back in your hand. If they're in the deck, they go back in the deck. And if they're on the field, they also get shuffled back in the deck. As well as Millennium Ankh does not go to the graveyard, it gets shuffled right back in as well. As well as any monsters that are not Millennium Monsters or the Exodia Monster. And then after successfully summoning the Exodia Incarnate, you cannot summon for the rest of the turn. But if this gets negated, it's not a once per turn activation, so you can activate another one. We are playing double Wedge You Temple. This one's really nice. It allows you to place any monster from your hand into the spell and trap zone. So if you have like a dead Exodia piece, throw it right down here, and then you get to take a Millennium monster from your deck and also add it down there. So it can help really jumpstart plays. And if this is on the field and you have a Millennium monster that gets destroyed, you can send it down here instead of sending it to the graveyard. So it's really nice. We're playing just the one Obliterate Blaze. It's alright. It can be pretty good and game ending. So even though it's a quick play spell, the effect isn't a quick play. So what it does when you have the Exodia Incarnate on the field, it gains an additional effect. So you give him the additional effect, and then you will have to trigger that effect. So it's kind of weird, but it's still pretty good at 1. So you pay half your life points to basically heavy storm the field. Only in the spell and trap zones though, so it does not affect the field zone. But then after doing that, you then place all 5 pieces of Exodia down in your spell and trap zone, equipping it to Incarnate, and then he gains 2,000 attack for every Exodia piece equipped to him. And it has to be all 5 pieces. So if they're in the graveyard or in your hand, actually, let's see. Sorry, you can equip it from your hand or deck. My apologies. But if they're in your graveyard though, or already on the field, then you're kind of screwed on that. But it will still give him piercing damage, so it could still really come in handy. Then I play the 1 Secret Village, the 1 Terraforming, and the 1 Set Rotation. Terraforming, straightforward, searches either spell. Same with Set Rotation. Since you run the Incarnate, get him on the field and get this on the field, lock your opponent out of spells, unless they are also playing spellcasters, but it could honestly be game ending just with that. Playing the 1 Pot of Prosperity, we don't really go in our extra deck too often, so this is really good just to get rid of what you don't really need and then search for your starters. We are running the triple Super Poly. Just good good board breakers. So, and then a little spice, we have the Forbidden Lance. And what this is in here for is because since, like I said, Millennium Ankh shuffles your monsters back that aren't Millennium monsters or the Exodia, what this does, it can help save monsters that you want to keep on the field. So potentially if you want to go into Silhouette Rabbit, you can Lance. He's unaffected by spells and traps. Then you go Millennium Ankh, and then, do all the play. And then he'll stay on the field, so for the following turn when you activate the trap monster, he'll have an additional pop. Things like that. Or if you don't want to go into him, I also do run the SP Little Knight. So, so that helps for another, interruption. Sorry if there's a bit of a lighting glare. I'm trying to fix that. Alright. So, Lance is pretty nice. Alright, here are the traps. Exod Fires of Rage. This card is broken. When you have your Exodia Incarnate on the field, this is an instant board wipe for your opponent. Just blows up all their monsters and all their spells and traps, and can just end games instantly with that if it goes off. I definitely like playing it too. I played it at 1 and I really missed the second one. So it does have a grave effect that's not used too often, but in case it ever does come up, you can banish it, not the turn it sent to the graveyard, but the next turn you can banish it, add a Forbidden One monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, or you can shuffle 5 pieces, or up to 5 pieces from your graveyard or banished back to your deck. Then playing the triple Infinite Impermanence, pretty straightforward with that. The one Statue for the Rabbit, and the one Tikaboo. So there can only be one is really great in this deck because all your monsters are just different types, so it doesn't affect them really. And it could just be game ending to your opponent. You're playing against Ubel or whatever else that is just all one type. Really shut them down. Alright, so on to the extra deck. We got the triple, the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate. You don't have to play 3. I like playing 3 because there's room. And if you don't need all 3, you can banish one with Pot of Prosperity or whatever. So, he has 5 different effects. Basically all, or each effect for a different piece of Exodia, if you want to put it that way. So, his first effect is that he can't be destroyed by card effects. So, really good right there. He's also a Spell and Trap Negate. It is a soft once per turn, so if you do get another copy of him, there you'll have 2 Spell and Trap Negates on the field. When he battles, he gains attack equal to whatever your life points are, and it's not until the end phase, so it will stack. So if you're at 8,000, he'll be at 8,000. If you don't finish him with that, and next turn you attack, he'll be at whatever else your life points will be at on top of the 8,000. So he can become massive. Then some people do forget that on your standby phase when he is on the field, you do have to pay 1,000 life points. It's mandatory. He does have an end phase effect as well. On each end phase, he can search for a Exod, Spell Trap, and an Obliterate Spell and Trap. Sorry, not and, or. So one or the other, and set it to your field. So really, really good. Alright, and then I am playing the one Millennium Eyes Restrict. It is technically a Millennium monster, so it won't get shuffled back with Ankh. And it is a monster negate, so it's really good. Here is my Super Poly lineup, and this will also determine what you expect to play against. I am playing the one Ubel Loving Defender, Muddy Mud Dragon, Garura, Starving Venom, and the Predoplant. Pretty straightforward here. Alright, then we got the one Anima. In case you do need to just normal summon one of the Exodia pieces, hopefully you won't have to come down to that, but it can be really good just to take one of your opponent's monsters that they may need. Then I am playing the one SP Little Knight, the one Silhouette Rabbit, and a couple other board breakers like Cerberus, Nightmare Phoenix, and Goddess. Alright, so that will complete the extra deck. Here's the side deck. And again, this will determine on whatever you think you may go up against in your local environment. So I only have 2, but I do play the 2 Perulia, the 2 Droll and Lockbird. Droll is still really good. It can stop a lot of decks. A lot of decks can still play around Droll, but that's why it's in the side deck, so you'll know what it will hurt most. Lava Golem, great going second card. Board breakers. Do play the one Necro Valley in case Secret Village is not enough. Necro Valley is really good for against graveyard reliant decks. I love playing the Twin Twisters. You don't really see it too often, but I like being able to hit multiple cards in the back row with the quick effect, because I've gotten shut down before by, what was it, Anti-Spell Fragrance. So being able to just chain and then pop it plus another card, and you know, like if they're playing against Ubel or something, they usually have a lot of cards in the back row too. So really nice. And on top of that, we do play the 2 Lightning Storm and the 1 Duster. Alright, and then I do have the last 3, Power Filter. This card's really good because there are a lot of decks that do run low attack monsters, especially Yubel if you are afraid of that matchup. But neither player can special summon monsters with 1,000 or less attack. So really, really good. Especially all of our monsters are really high in attack. And our Exodia Incarnate is, his attack is a question mark. So even though he's summoned at 0 attack, it still gets around this being, you know, can't special summon monsters with 1,000 or less. So really good. Alright, you guys, that will complete my deck profile. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and check out my other videos. Now on for the complete deck list.